Hey guys, before I start answering some questions, I just want to let you guys know that I have picked the two winners for the Arcade Hecarim and Right Blitzcrank skins. They will be announced at the end of the video, but if you continue to leave comments on these like Ask MeNoHaxor videos, then I will still be picking out some questions and randomizing some people to win some more giveaway skins. So always feel free to keep asking questions and maybe you'll be selected to win some free skins. Now let's go ahead and answer a few questions before I announce the winners. Johnny Lamb asks, Hey MeNoHaxor, I'd like to ask you a more general question. Where do you live? How old are you? What do you do for a living? So I currently live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am 19 years old, and I guess I'm a student for a living since I don't really have income or have a job or anything like that besides studying. And I am currently finishing my second year at Carnegie Mellon University, and I'm pursuing a degree in computer science. Donkey Iser asks, mandatory, tits or ass? Well, why not both? DC Saba asks, what do you think about the new rune changes? I think the new rune changes are definitely for the better. If you don't know what the rune changes are, basically they're tweaking a lot of the seals and quints to make them a little bit more diversified. So they're reducing like the armor seals by a lot, but to compensate for that, they're giving all the champions like an increased amount of base armor. So it's really not that necessary to get armor on supports, I think. I think you can probably get away with like HP seals or like gold pretend seals or mana regen seals instead. Same thing for quints as well. So should be pretty interesting. Especially I also think they changed a little bit of the cooldown quints. So you can definitely get a lot more CDR from runes now, which could be pretty interesting, but I can't really say because I kind of have to experiment myself and do some calculations and stuff before I can really say if the rune changes are for the better. Kegs asks, who's your favorite LCS team? And if you have the chance, which team would you play for? I think my favorite LCS team is probably a tie between CLG and TSM, mostly because I cheer for CLG because Link is on CLG, and I've known Link way before he even got into League, and because we actually used to play Dota together a lot, and that's how I met him. So, like, I would say I met him probably like 7, 8 years ago, maybe, and so I've kind of known him even today. So I always support him in whatever he's doing because I think he's a really good player in general. He's a really nice guy. So as long as he's on CLG, I'm always supporting him. And I also respect TSM a lot because I think TSM is one of the few teams I think where I actually respect all the players because I've actually just pretty much played against like every single pro player at this point in solo queue, and so I respect a lot of the TSM's players because just have really good personalities. They're all really good in solo queue, and they all just seem like really good guys. And I think that they're definitely one of the best teams, and I'm definitely cheering for them to represent NA. Bjorn Edvard Holmberg asks, what made you settle down as support? Did you play similar roles in other games, or did you always prefer that kind of playstyle? I settled down as support mostly because I used to play Dota before I played League. I played Dota, I'd say about 7 or 8 years ago also, because I used to play Dota with Link. So that's kind of when I started, and I kind of just naturally played support in Dota since when we usually played with friends, like no one really wanted to support, so I was kind of the nice guy and did it. And so when I transitioned into League, I kind of just stayed with support since I figured the roles are pretty similar, and they kind of are in some ways. So I just kind of continued to play support. And people in League, like at least in like season two, like nobody played support ever. So I just ended up just playing support every single game and just kind of learning it from there. I also started to play support mostly because one of my favorite champions of all time is Blitzcrank, and so I always play Blitzcrank support a lot. So because I played Blitzcrank as support, I kind of had to learn all the other supports eventually. So that's also one of the reasons why I play support. Has Dimple asks, how long did it take you to get to the level of play you're at? I think it took me probably a year because I started I started playing League seriously in season 2 and I basically just shot up to plat diamond range like really fast. And then about a year later, I ended up in like Diamond 1-ish, and that was pretty much when I like almost learned anything. And then the season when I hit Challenger, that was when like I really understood everything. So I think in total, from the time I actually started playing League seriously until I got to Challenger, that's like a year and a half maybe, almost 2 years I think. So that's about how long. But I guess it'll vary from person to person since I also already had like really strong mechanics to begin with from playing Dota. So it kind of depends. Scott Ader asks, what are your thoughts on the current trend of tanky supports being favored in the current meta? I think that tanky supports are going to die off soon, mostly because Morgana exists and counters every single tanky support in the entire game. So Morgana's probably the best support right now in solo queue, and until people start to figure out how to counter Morgana, I think that tanky supports are just gonna die off. And I even now I'm starting to see a lot more like Janna, a lot more like Soraka, a lot more like Annie and Lulu bot. And it's really weird to me because I really haven't seen them in a long time. But now that like spell thief changes are in and like tank supports are getting nerfed because of Dorn Shield nerfs and stuff like that, like I think there'll definitely be a shift in what kind of supports are going to be played very, very soon. It's just kind of a matter of time until people adjust, I think. 12 Palette 21 asks, what champion do you wish to see reworked as a support? I think Kale would be cool as a support. I've always thought Kale's kit was always really interesting, and it would be fun to play her as a support, but I feel like she's significantly better mid because her scaling is a lot better than most supports, and she can actually farm up to the point where she can be really, really significant in team fights. So until they either like increase her base damage and decrease her like AP ratio scalings and stuff like that, like I would probably never play her support. But if they do that, I would definitely start picking her up because I think she's really fun. N Kotler asks, will we get to see you play positions other than support? I'd love to see you play AD carry and criticize your support. Lol. Yeah, definitely. I actually wanted to play other roles besides supports and record some commentaries and stuff like that. But the problem is that the software I use heavily decreases my FPS when I'm playing to like 30, and it gets really, really hard to play other roles when I'm at like 30 FPS. Because when I'm not recording, I play at about 60. So that kind of like drop in FPS really messes up my playstyle a lot, especially when my second role is usually AD carry. So that's the reason why I really have only been uploading support because it's really the only kind of role I can play at a really high level when I'm kind of like in not a very optimal play condition of 30 FPS. Andre Carvalho asks, what does the fox say? Well, Andre, I'll tell you what the fox says. Just kidding, I'm not gonna sing that. What the hell are you guys thinking? I have a really terrible singing voice anyways. And the winner of the Arcade Hacker and Man Riot Blitzcrank skins are Annie Zhou and cazzelikrueger. So I sent you guys PMs already, so let me know if you guys receive it. If they don't get anything, I'll be picking out some new winners and I'll announce it in the next video. New giveaway will be out probably about next week, I think, and I'll probably be giving away some different skins. So stay tuned for that, leave some questions, and see you guys next episode.